Are you stuck in your business and wondering what to do next? Or you just want to try something new? Hi, this is Ryan Vaz with PBN Bharat, and we started this series called Inspire to really inspire you to scale. And today, with me, we've got a very interesting guest who I've been looking forward to having on this show for a very long time because he's one of the few people who have been exporting services. Today, we have the founder of Invicta Solutions. Over the last decade, he has bridged the gap between India and US, UK, and Israel. With a team that is almost 150 people strong, he has mastered the art of building trust across time zones and cultures. Today, we are going to be diving deep into the service export playbook with a man who made Goa a global BPO hub. Please welcome Mr. Darshan Goradia. Hi Darshan, welcome onto the show.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Darshan, when I met you last time, you told me some months back when I met you, you told me that you started a business in the UK without even stepping a foot over there. That you've been doing service for a long time in that country, and you've not visited there till recently. How does one go about doing that? That blew off my mind. How does one go about doing something like this?
Well, I think I'm a true believer in the whole outsourcing space. I've lived it, like I mentioned to you the last time. I own a couple of companies in the UK right now. That's one of our core businesses. And I have yet not set foot in the UK. Now you can think of it as two things. One is just the ease of doing business in that country, the UK. Second is the whole global nature of business in general, at least the service industry in today's times. You can set up a company in the UK within 24 hours over the internet right now.
Wow.
We have banking service providers, Indian banks who operate out of there, and they're very helpful when it comes to setting up financial, services over there for us. I get goods produced here, manufactured here in India. They shipped off to the UK where we warehouse them. The warehouse is outsourced.
Wow.
We've got a sales and service team that is based here in Goa, the heart of the operation in Goa, servicing customers far away in the UK. And they do a brilliant job, let me tell you. And there's never a need to really visit the UK. Mine is a B2C sort of model. And it's worked out really well.
So, just for the sake of our viewers understanding what you do, can you explain us in brief what is the operation that you do? What is the business all about?
So, this is what I started out my career in. I run a nutraceutical business, a health supplements company. We have natural products, nutrition, that caters to people of a certain age in our case. And although we started this business a very long time ago, at that time it was a very telemarketing focused industry. That's what we've continued with, and we look to pivot. So we've got customers in the UK who may give us a call saying they'd like to procure so and so vitamins. Our team here takes in those orders.
Mm-hmm.
We pass them on to a warehouse in the UK.
Okay.
They're picking, packing, and shipping those goods from the UK to the house of the customer.
Okay.
And the customer gets them in 2 to 3 days' time at their doorstep without having to get out of the house.
Brilliant. And you're doing this in the US, the UK, as well as the Israel, or
No, our
these
primary
are
market for this is the UK.
UK. And for US and Israel, you're doing something else?
Yes. So when I started out this business, the UK business, right? I don't know if I today term it unfortunate, but when I started it out was at the cusp of the Brexit vote.
Okay.
And we were confident that Britain would vote to stay back in the EU.
Mm-hmm.
We started out gung-ho, and just when the result of the referendum came out, we were all blown away because the vote was to leave the EU. That tanked the markets, that caused so much uncertainty that people were not willing to really spend money. And ours is a discretionary spend. It is something that people could do without.
Right.
As a result, the business was badly affected when we first started. This is 2016 when operations were due to start. That's when I realized it's going to be difficult to have all our eggs in one basket. It may be challenging because of macroeconomic conditions. And we decided to expand our portfolio, not be dependent on just one country or one business. Because the call center, the outsourcing space was something I was in, we decided why not use our capabilities in the outsourcing space to service other countries, other customers.
Okay.
Through a vendor of ours, I met my first US client.
Okay.
They were an IT recruitment company based in Arizona. The owner's wife owner's husband had Goan roots.
Okay.
He was brought up in Goa and he was looking to set up something here.
Oh, nice.
A chance meet resulted in them placing their faith in us, and we started work for them.
Okay.
Another vendor introduced me to a gentleman in Australia that the vendor used to work with. They already had a setup previously in Mumbai. They didn't have a good experience. They decided to give India another chance. We were fortunate enough to get that opportunity. And we started servicing customers in Australia through them.
Brilliant.
About 2 years ago, we had a team come down from Israel. They used to service their customers through a call center in Bangalore, and they were looking for another center to switch to. They really loved Goa. They loved our infrastructure here, the company's infra. And although they were looking to switch, a last moment hiccup resulted in them not being able to.
Okay.
But then they kept in touch because they loved it so much here, and we've started out our first project with them now as of the last 4 months ago.
Okay.
And they're looking to actively grow.
Cool.
So
Cool.
it's been a ride, but that's how it started for us.
What you spoke about the Australian company not having a good experience in India. I've had people that I've spoken to in Netherlands and Philippines, in Oman, even in Dubai. A similar kind of experience comes out that we tried once, it did not work out well, and I'm not sure whether we should give another chance or not. In a scenario where trust is important, integrity is important, people do business with people. Almost every guest that has come on this show has consistently said that people do business with people first. Yet you've managed to crack something there. How have you done set up a service industry across 3 countries without being over there?
There's this analogy, right? You've been to a Baskin Robbins, right?
Yes.
Now, what fascinated me the first time I went to a Baskin Robbins was the fact that all those flavors, I think 31 if I'm not wrong.
31 flavors.
Right. You had the ability to ask a taster of each one of those and you could then pick whichever you liked, correct?
Right.
What it did for me as a customer was de-risk what I'm going to buy. I could try it out. If I liked it, I could buy it. If I didn't like it, I could try another flavor. We kind of tried using that in our business, right? So a lot of the work we do, we do on a commissions or performance-based model.
Right.
Not just a fixed seat cost model. It de-risks any sort of uncertainty for the client because the client knows they're only paying if the performance that they expect is there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm going to get something where I'm not risking too much, why would I not give it a shot?
So you give them a way to experience what you all are already doing?
That's correct.
And then that reduces the kind of risk that they have?
Yes. So we'd either do a small pilot for them and not take on a big chunk of their work. We build trust in terms of our abilities and the abilities of our team and management.
Right.
And over a period of time, when they realize that, you know what, this is the right partner for us, then they're in a position to look at scaling up operations. Alternatively, in a fixed cost model, a fixed seat cost model, which a lot of call centers work with, whether the team performs or not, you're paying a particular monthly cost as a
Right.
client.
Right.
In our case, we tell them, if we perform, you're paying us.
Okay.
If we do not perform,
Right.
you're not paying us.
Wow.
And that's actually worked wonderfully for us, because the team that we have, or the people we've had since we've begun, they've performed extremely well. The right guidance, the right mentorship, and they've done brilliantly. So we've ended up earning more than what we would have on a compared to a
Fixed seat,
fixed
yeah.
seat model. So that's worked well for us.
No, and that is so interesting that you bring that up, because people, their trust also is there. You're also pushing yourself and then continuously improving on your services, on your team. One of the things that from your conversation that I'm trying to pull out is that you worked a lot with the teams from different countries, and when
That's
you
right.
do that, I'm sure that there are initially some teething problems, some cultural changes. How do you find a fix? Because it's not just about training someone to sell properly on in a market.
Of
It's
course.
all about understanding what their culture is, what they are expecting, what their thought process is. How do you do that?
So I think training has been at the center of anything and everything we've done. Training of our manpower, the people who make Invicta what it is. We ensure that before we're starting out work, there's an extensive orientation that happens with regards to the country that we'd be operating in, the kind of people in the country, geography,
Right.
culture, the nuances, slang for that
Right,
matter.
yes.
Because culturally, India is very, very different from so many other parts of the
Right.
world, right? The one advantage we have with Goa is exposure to this culture due to the hospitality hotbed that we are. We've got people who are coming in from the UK, living here, holiday here. A lot of people are exposed to these cultures anyway. We've had so many people from Israel who come here as tourists
Right.
to Goa. The US may not be as much, but again, you've got the US all over television, right? So Goa worked brilliantly because of exposure to foreign nationals anyway. But in spite of that, we take it a step further with the training and orientation to ensure that if somebody goes on to a phone call with a customer of a client, they're well versed with anything and everything that they need to know.
Nice. So you mentioned that Goa works well, and because of us being a hospitality hotbed, and over the last few years, you have scaled. I think you started off with around 20 people.
Yes.
Yeah, from 20 people to 150 people. Now that's a massive management shift, and with that kind of shift, I think a new challenges will come, a new processes will have to set up. What's your bottleneck in your growth?
So what was the bottleneck, right? And you're very right. I came in from the BPO industries of Mumbai. And in Mumbai, you've got BPOs at every corner,
Right.
literally.
Right.
And the population of the city itself is so high that manpower is rarely an issue.
Hmm.
Now, that was one challenge that we did face in Goa. Getting the right manpower, or getting manpower suitable for the job. This was initially.
Right.
And then I realized if I go into the call centers or the service sector in Mumbai, a lot of the people that I'd worked with initially were people of Goan origin, right? But they were just people who moved from Goa to Mumbai in search of opportunities there.
Opportunities. Yeah.
What if we were able to create opportunities for them in Goa,
In Goa.
that paid well, that allowed them to stay with their family in their hometowns? And we were just in a position to just train them and adapt to what they needed to. So the bottleneck was the number of people that we probably have needed while scaling up. How we overcame that was through extensive training. We ensured that training was one of the pillars on which we built out our teams. We would take somebody who had the abilities we thought in our opinion. We would hire them, take them through the extensive training, teach them anything and everything they needed to know.
Hmm.
And I think for them it was great because they didn't really need to leave. I mean, who wants to leave
Of
Goa,
course, of
right? The
course.
kind of place it is.
Right,
I came into Goa once and I decided, this is where I want to live for the rest of my life.
right.
So I find it difficult for people, difficult to understand how people leave Goa if the work opportunities were available here. We just
Right.
decided to leverage that.
Right, right. A lot of people leave and then come back because they can't stay away from Goa, and then you've created that entire environment over here. But I think besides the salary, it is also the kind of culture that you have built. How do you build this? Because I believe you have a very low attrition rate. Attrition is a silent killer in most BPO businesses. People have no loyalty to the company in this kind of a field. How do you then maintain? And I know that there are some people who have been there with you for a long time. How do you keep this team together?
So I'll answer this in two parts. The simple answer, to a certain extent, is we've got very little competition in the outsourcing space here in Goa.
Okay.
And as a result, if you've built up a skill and you're looking to build out a career in that, and there are not many other options, you stay back. But it's not as simple as that. The second part to the answer is Invicta has always been a very employee driven organization. We'd always hope and strive to ensure that our employees get certain forms of satisfaction they're looking for, whether it is growth in their career, whether it is monetary growth, whether it's abilities to explore opportunities within the organization that their skill sets may be more aligned with. You're right, we've had very little attrition. The one time we did have to scale down was when certain macroeconomic conditions did not work in our favor. But apart from that, I've had people working with me for nearly a decade now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're happy doing that. I just think them being valued, them getting trained and upskilling, them being given opportunities. In fact, we as an organization now are also looking to encourage employees of ours who have certain venture ideas by funding them if they seem
Brilliant.
viable. So we've had one employee of ours. He is in the software development space. He's a developer. He had a startup idea. We as an entity have funded that
Nice.
opportunity.
Nice.
And now he's moved on from being an employee to a partner. But ultimately, growth, that's what everyone's looking for. And if we can provide that within, they don't have the need to look outside of where we are.
Right. Darshan, you mentioned that you had a rocky start. Okay. Here in between, also you said that because of global circumstances, you had to drop down your team.
Correct.
Now, a lot of people assume that business is a one-way up growth, and when they come to Margaon and as they enter in, they see the big board, they feel that, oh, it's a big company. But I'm sure that behind the big company and the big growth and the big 150 people team, there has been lots of ups and downs. Any one of those ups and downs you could care to share, or how do you generally come out of a low point?
So, honestly, I think entrepreneurship requires grit, it requires hustle, it requires the ability to go above and beyond. Being a business person, to a lot of people, may feel like, you know what, I can work my hours, I can
Right.
go home to my family whenever I want. And as much as you look to build up to that,
I don't think that ever happens.
I have my fingers crossed. But take, for example, when we first started out, right? The Brexit happened. When we looked to start out, and because we are an export of services company, the Great British Pound to the rupee value matters to us greatly. what was it, about 95, 96 when we were looking to start out, went down to about 79. That was a whole margin wiped out, right?
Right, right.
Lot of sleepless nights, but patience, persistence, and grit helped us. When I started out servicing the US set of customers, I, as the business owner, ended up working about 16, 18 hours every single day. I'd come in for the UK shift at about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'd be at work till about 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning when the US shift was done.
Right, right.
Because when I started out the US shift, I knew I had to be there, not just to ensure the team has the support, but also to know what the team has to do, liaising with the client, ensuring that everything that needs to be done is done, because that is the point where we're building trust between ourselves here as
Right.
Invicta and the client. And yeah, I mean, you constantly do get
And these
that.
are these small stories that nobody talks about.
True.
The small struggles, the small challenges that we have faced that have finally built us to where we have reached, and that has happened over a period of time. One last comment to people who are listening to this show and who want to replicate your success. What would be your advice to them?
What I've always focused on personally is ensuring that my customers' experience is always better than what they would expect.
Right.
And I think that is the one mantra that has helped us not just gain reliability with our clients, but also have clients refer more people to us.
Right. Right.
We've always ensured that the customer of our client is dealt with as if they were our own. We've never thought of them as the client's customer.
Right.
And in the service industry, the customer experience is paramount. You may
Right.
have a brilliant, set of technical people. You may have great technology, wonderful code, wonderful systems. But if your people are not able to take care of the customer of your client,
Then
it
does
just
not-
leads to
it does
nothing.
not
So,
work.
focus on the customer, their experience, and if you can overjoy them, you've got a wonderful business that
Yeah,
you
so
can.
one of my mentors had told me my customer success is my success. So I think it's something like that.
100%.
Darshan, thank you very much for coming onto this show. From Darshan, we were able to, Darshan broke some of the myths that we have in mind that a business cannot be started from Goa, or rather, international service business cannot be started from Goa. That an international service business, you need to go and be there to start a business. You've broken that myth as well. That people from BPOs keep leaving. You've been able to break that as well. I believe that if you are able to have the right mix, the right setup, and the right motivation for people, you are able to do things. Think a little bit out of the box, and you're able to solve a lot of the problems that we take for granted. Darshan, thank you very much for being with us today, and I hope a lot more people are going to get inspired by this chat that I had with you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ryan. It was wonderful being here, and any little part I can play in helping other people to take this up as an opportunity, I'd love to
Thank you,
do
Darshan.
that.